It is the most exciting day of the week, Championship Sunday here on the LPGA Tour of Korea, as we say good afternoon and welcome to the Gaya Country Club for the final of 3 rounds in this 2023 Nexen SaintNine Masters. A special year for this tournament, its 10th anniversary, and we are in for a wild ride all the way to the 18th hole with lots of players still in the hunt. A tie for the lead, 3 players tied for second, 1 stroke back, an additional 3 tied for 6th, just 2 shots off the pace. It is very much anyone's tournament as we begin our coverage today. We will show you the leaderboard as soon as we can, but in the meantime, I can tell you where we currently sit. Isomi, despite being over par through 8 holes, is tied for first with Cheyuno, Ko Chiu, Lee Dayan, and Kim Soo-ji tied for third at 5 under, 1 back. Kim Min-ju, Im Hee-jung, and Kim Min-byul tied at 4 under par. The aforementioned Isomi, here she is on 9. Birdied here yesterday, the final hole before making the turn. From the right side of the screen, putting back towards the middle, it is nearly online. Will come to rest just on top of her groupmate's ball marker and will mark off. 69-68 the scores in her first 2 rounds today. Nearly through 9. She's yet to find a birdie and dropped 1 on hole 1. On 10, Lee Dayan. She is very much in the hunt here, despite mostly being just playing average golf prior to today. Putting with the wind at her back, and well, she comes to rest about 2 feet to the left of the hole. Back to 9. The door is open for Kim Soo-ji to move back into a share of the lead. Just about a foot closer than Isomi had been. There's the speed. But the trade-off was how she lined that putt up. It's still about 3 feet away, so she will have that for a par before heading to the back 9 within 1. Two bogeys on this front 9, 4 and 8. Our birdie came at the par 4 5th. Granted, a little extra patience in terms of pace of play in these final rounds. Every stroke, every hole, you can feel the weight and the pressure mount. 37 on her front 9. Well, the sun has, for the most part, stayed away. We're expecting overcast skies all the way in through the finality of this tournament, and probably the steady wind higher than it has been all week. 4.8 meters per second. Well, it's 17 kilometers an hour. Certainly it is one of the many things to try and manage on the way in. Well, our co-leader, Cheyuno, her third on 5, and not a whole lot left. She had done very well to set herself up there, but a mixture of the breeze and perhaps a bit too much club sends her all the way to the fringe. With the exception of Ko Chiu, she is the lowest in the top 5. There have been some brilliant rounds in progress thus far. Imi Jung on pace for a 66 with 2 holes to play. On to 12. The aforementioned Coach Yu. Does she have the speed? Yes, it does. But unfortunately not online. The front 9 had been absolutely chock full of birdies, and even in Kim Min Ju's case, an eagle, carding a 3 on the par 5, the third. We had 72 players of the 120 make the cut. So an action-packed day. Just how we like it. Waiting for the green to clear beneath them and the beginning of the back 9. About 2.5 hours to crown a champion. Kim Min Bjorn had been an even par 9 holes with a birdie at 3, a bogey at 4. 68, 4 under in the opening round, just even par yesterday. That's a great stat and a hole that will fill her with plenty of confidence to begin the back 9. Kim Soo-ji having birdied here each of the first 2 rounds so far this week. Last week she had tied for 3rd, back-to-back rounds of 70 at the weekend. Park Ji-young had been a 75 in the final round last week. Kept her in the top 10, but she was on for at least a podium. Here's Chae-Eun-Oh moving ever closer. Re-entering the perfect path. Just slowing up before the hole. She'll tap in for par. Coach Yu with 13. 145 meter par 3. Chance for birdie, albeit a slightly smaller look with still a fair bit of distance to make up. Lee Dae-yeon has 100 meters on the nose. On 11, had missed the fairway narrowly to the right side. Well, big opportunity for her. She is putted well today. She has done just about everything spot on today. Bogey free through 12 holes. Birdies at 2, 3, 8, and 11. We'll have another look on 13 Now Kime Reem going with the 7-iron on this par 3. 10 yards from the back and pretty much in the center of the green is where we find the pin today. A fortuitous bounce down the fringe. Look at the speed that picks up. Stops about 3 feet away, and that is all but guaranteed to go for her. That will push her into sole possession of 8th. And now one of my favorite looks throughout this entire Nagdung course here. Mountains left and right, mountains in the background, and the city just beneath the trees. 3 under today. It is officially the longest par 4 on the course, at least the 2 sets of 9 that we're playing, a 6-course venue here at Kaya. But with that downhill, plays a heck of a lot shorter, especially when you can drive the ball with the pace that Cheyuno is doing. Her average driving distance for the season, not quite up there with the heavy hitters. Only 228 yards, but she has been accurate. Isomi trying to reach and is going to reach. Finds almost the exact center of the green, and that will be a putt for an eagle. Also fancying trying to reach the green. Kimin Biel can see the lovely little fade on that, and she's gonna stop on the fringe. Now, these kinds of shots yesterday were one of her Achilles heels. And pitching wedge, the loft wedge, admittedly not her favorite clubs yesterday. Kim Soo-ji should certainly feel the confidence of being able to reach. Looking down towards the right, but that's actually staying relatively left. The bunker's not out of play. Is just able to avoid it, and it'll be interesting to see how she approaches her third shot as she looks to make it a perfect 3 for 3 for birdies, excuse me, this week at 10. Coach Yu, it would be quite the marvelous putt, but it is nevertheless an opportunity to move into a tie for the lead. Still no guarantees with about 5 feet left and downhill. Never the favored type of lie. Idai on this can also take her to 6 under par. Needed that to stay true. Breaks away to the right. It's a frustrating miss for her. This is a tense moment for Coach Yu. Needs this to avoid a bogey. Nicely played under the pressure. Well, for Kimin Bial, it is the back and forth. Do I putt? Do I chip? Which club do I feel the most confidence in this particular environment? No doubt she spent some time on the practice greens last night, but still you can tell she certainly favors the putter over the pitching wedge. Has the room and the margin for error with which to operate. It's a putt for eagle. She's going to try and ride the slope. It's going to come down with speed. It's a bit too much. Just needs to hit the brakes. Fades down to the left. Left a little bit more on that putt than she would have needed. Still the right club selection. And the approach at 11 for Cheonu. 97 meters out. Downhill lie. Full swing with a high lofted wedge. Gonna be about hole high. Does well to manage the wind at her back as well. Has not putted particularly well to start the year. 42nd last week, 17th at the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. Now Kim Soo-ji grabs the fringe to slow it down. It's gone left, and it's going to be a bit deeper than even Kimin Bial. That's going to be a perfect kick back online. Could not ask for a much purer stroke than that. Rightfully fired up. Up onto the green, and the backspin keeping it close from the left side of the fairway, a long way back. Well, it's an outside look, but an opportunity nevertheless to return to even par for the day and share the lead. We know it's going to come back left, and just too much of that right to left break, in fact. Not a half bad attempt, but it's not to be, at least on number 10. Uphill, on line, and in the hole. It's going to take some of those moments for numerous players here. Especially if anyone wants to break free and become the chased instead of the chaser. Can Kim Min-byul find a little magic in this putter? Yes, she can. Brilliantly executed by the rookie, who moves within one once again. How tight it is from tied for 6th to a tie for 3rd, and she has the benefits of the remaining holes on her side. Isomi, there's the short tap in on her own right. Speaking of the chased, he is certainly that. So a short birdie to move to the outright lead. Cheonu could have caught her. Just narrowly stays out. Catches the lip. Settles for par. And through no fault of her own, she moves into the runner-up position. On the final hole of the day for Im Hee-jung, who is up 30 positions. There's one last chance for a bird. A 66, however, in the final round is nothing to shake a stick at. Look at that, a bogey-free round, in and out with a 33. Far and away her best performance of the week. She had started the tournament 2 over. Scratches and claws, and fights her way back inside of the top 10. Some brilliant golf from the veteran today. Choayon has her birdie to move inside of the top 10. Back to even for the day. 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. And now Daeyeon trying to will this to the left. Well, she gets her kick. Slope back towards the front of the green, but only around 6 feet remaining as we take our aerial tour of this 11th hole. 387 meters, as mentioned, drastically downhill. 20-meter drop from the teeing ground. There is that bunker on the left side of the fairway to be somewhat cognizant of, 225 meters from the tee at its end. And in the landing area, it's about 140 meters on average, down once again to the green. The pin placement in this final round is about middle in terms of the depth, and on the right side as well. We zoom in, you can see you really do not want to leave it short here today. Isomi the first to tee off here. Big kick and nearing the rough, but accelerates down into safety. One of the advantages of being in the featured group for Kim Min-byul is she will know exactly what she needs to do hole in and hole out to keep pace with Isomi. She's been driving the ball all week, quite honestly all month. And that leaves Kim Soo-ji. Struggled here in round one with the bogey, but much better yesterday. Didn't quite clear that final little mound before being able to roll down with her group mates, but everyone is away. No one facing that perilous of a lie. As we go one hole further with Cheonu. And the fairway on the other side of that little dip. 2 under round one, 1 under yesterday, 3 under at the moment. A very makeable birdie for Ide on 2.5 meters. It'll move a bit to the left right away and downhill. Has to try and stay on top of the speed. Nicely executed. So she moves into a share of the runner-up position. And you cannot get more consistent than that. 3 pars, birdie, 3 pars, birdie, 3 pars, birdie, and another. .115 meters downhill for Kim Soo-ji. Sounds like she caught it well. Looks like she caught it well. A little bit more left of center, but hole high. She was 10 meters deeper down the fairway, Isomi. She was trying to manage that narrow landing zone above the bunker. Is able to stay out of the sand, but is off the green. Without the sun and with that wind on an overcast day up in the mountains, it does feel a lot cooler than just the 17 degrees it is. Wanted a bit of bite. Finds the middle of the green. No one really with an outstanding look at birdie here at 11. Dayan on the shortest hole of the course, only 145 meters.
Okay, good shot.
Towards the back right. Doesn't look particularly enthused by it. It certainly won't be her easiest putt of the day. Coach Yu, meanwhile, a couple of holes closer to the clubhouse, has another birdie. 5 under now through 14. Also one back. 5 under is the second best score out of anyone today. Trailing only Im Hee Jung. Coming back, the supporters willing it just that extra foot or two. She will not be able to see 8 under, at least on 11. Still a very well played par. Pretty wild to think if she was at any of the scores of those closest to her on the leaderboard, 4 under, 3 under, 5 under, she would be cruising to the finish line. Chanu just stopped short of the green. That's a tricky one because an extra club, she's probably at the back of the green. Difficult when you're in between yardages like that. the hill for Kimin Bial. It drifted back online. Might have been there with a little bit more speed. And the aspirations of getting up and down from the fringe is all but a certainty. Kim Soo-ji. Only slightly uphill, 7 meters away from a birdie. Not a ton of break here. He's got a chance, but it stays straight all the way through. Rode the line well, just not starting it enough to the right. No movement for featured group. On 11, everyone is where they began the hole. And now Lee Dae-yeon. He's going to need some speed. Well, that part of the equation she had taken care of. The geometry of the putt, unfortunately, not quite there, so 2-putt par for her as well. Well, 40 minutes into our final round on this Sunday at Kaya Country Club. It is Iso-mi with a 1-shot advantage through 11 holes. Ko Chi-yu, Lee Dae-yeon, Cheonu, the runners-up at the moment, 1 back at 6 under par. Also have to be mindful of Cho Ayeon. She still has pretty well the entirety of the back 9 to play as she tries to chase down the victory here as well. 17 players under par. Lee Ji-hyun 3 headlines the 11 that are at even. Plenty more to come from the Kaya Country Club this final round of the Nexen SaintNine Masters 2023. We'll be back in just a few moments. from the fairway. The featured group continuing to make their way through the 12th hole. Here is Kim Soo-ji with a 9-iron. She is also not quite able to reach all the way to the green. Kim Min-byul electing to go with the 9. She is able to get all the way up and will just hang on before the fringe. Coach Yu, birdie each of the first 2 rounds. And she might have had a third, if not for that distance. It was teetering back towards the line that it needed to attain. But it takes a second putt, and it is a par. I'm seeing a moment of brilliance or two from Bae So-hyun today. Unfortunately, she does find herself 2 over for the round, down at even. That's another one where everything but the speed was there, which is a pretty important part of the equation, must be said. Well, for a birdie here, it's going to take either a miraculous putt from Kim Min-byul or a chip in. Lee So-mi the first on the attempt and hangs it short. Continues to cool right on down here in Kim Chae-shi, down to 15 degrees Celsius. As we go along to 14. Lee Da-yeon, 7-iron from the fairway. Needs to be at the back third on the left side. You can see quite the ways away. Kim Soo-ji, well, that slows down almost as soon as she arrives at the green. And she watches it in. She will, for the third or fourth time in the last hour here, need to swap out for the putter for a simple 2 or 3 footer. Isomi has opened the door. Cheonu, this looks good. And it's great. Moves up to 4 under for the round. Her first birdie since 9, and she returns to a share of the top of the leaderboard. Another that's oh so close. For someone who has at times struggled with that putter. Nearly has a moment of pure brilliance. Well, under hit to the point that it never really had a chance. Eidayan is right there knocking at the door. Isumi needs this to save a par and share the lead. No drama, just how she'll like it. Kim Soo-ji records her par as well. 2 back. Not that she's running out of time, but it is worth noting that Cheonu, excuse me, and Isomi are finding no issues in securing the birdies above her. We take a look at the par 3 13th. 145 meters it is. With the pin today, 10 yards from the back, 9 yards from the left. So pretty well in between those 2 arrows, the left side of the animation. A very narrow spot to try and land.
이쪽으로 나와주세요. 직원분. 네. 그 갤러리 분들도 조금만 안쪽으로 들어와 주세요.
Isomi is putting this perfectly on line as she rolls closer and closer and closer. It's a bit of a paradox how well she played earlier in the tournament, where seemingly everyone else had their struggles, but today only one birdie. Has 3 birdies on par 3s this week. 2 in the first round, 1 yesterday. So we go back to 14. Looking to par this hole for the second and final time this weekend, Lee Dae-yeon. Offline and overcooked.
플레이하겠습니다.
네, 플레이하겠습니다. 선수 칠 때 카메라 찍지 말아주세요. 저희 플레이할게요.
Kim Soo-ji, can she follow up or improve upon what Lee So-mi had done just mere moments ago? Only the 1 birdie on the day for her as well at the 5th. Not quite where that needed to be. Hole high, and if she's learned anything from the past few holes, it's bring a bit more speed. Let's see if she makes the necessary adjustments as we take in the 3rd shot on 16 for Coach Yu. Just a 60-meter short wedge, half swing probably. Yu uses that yardage and the backspin expertly. Could definitely be on for a birdie to move her up into a share of the lead. So an unfortunate bogey at this point in the round, dropping her to 2 off the pace. This is how we look at the minute. Cheonu with her birdie on 13, moving into a share of the lead. Lee So-mi on the green at 13 with a chance for birdie to take that lead right back. Coach Yu, she has sole possession of 3rd at the moment. Lee Dae-yeon bogeying to drop into what is now a 3-way tie for 5th. Li Shuying, the Chinese invitational golfer, with a great round today of 4 under to finish inside of the top 10. Stick around, more from the final round of the Nexen SaintNine Masters 2023. Coming right up. Well, getting set to enter hour number 2 here of Championship Sunday for the third time in 2023, and for the third week running, Kim Min-byul is in the hunt. It is an outside long look at birdie on the par 3, excuse me. Leaves herself with about 4 feet. She is starting to run out of holes, with those above her just starting to pull away, including this young woman. It's about 3 weeks away from her 28th birthday, as she plays her approach shot on 14. 5 holes to go. She's trying to bank a couple more birdies on the way in, and that will do a lot for that mission. Now he's so mean. You can see she's starting at about 4 feet to our right of the hole. 7.6 meters. It's the right intention, just lacking a little bit of the execution. She continues to stall and stagnate and not progress. On the verge of losing the lead once again. Coach Yu, 50% of the time this year, this yardage has found birdie. Not the case here. What a big moment that was. She stays at 6 under and outright third. That was one of her final opportunities for birdie, and she knows it. .4 for Kim Soo-ji. Just a little bit up at the end. There it goes, but misaligned and overhead. That's not a good combination. No walk in the park for that par either. Park Young. She has played even golf all week long. 21st where she is at the moment. And that's about fitting for the week. Steady but disappointed is almost certainly the feeling. 3 over in the first round. She struggled with the putter, especially yesterday. She played brilliantly, 3 under. And if she has that par, it will be even down the middle. Kim Min-byul to save her par. She has never won on tour. She's come close. 2016 finished tied for second at the BC Card Hung Young Ladies Cup 2016. 3 times on the podium. We're looking for win number 1. She takes the outright lead with back-to-back birdies for the second time today. And with Lee So-mi's seemingly inability at the moment to card any birdies of her own, she is very much in the driver's seat. Not the par 3 she would have been looking for. Kim Soo-ji. Finds herself 3 back now as we move right along. Lee Dayan. She's willing it left. Her hopes, her prayers go, unfortunately, a little bit unanswered. She gets hung up on the fringe. Well, a tie for 22nd as she exits the course. Birdie at 6, bogey at 11, all pars otherwise. 216, her aggregate score. Kim Bial, the first to tee off on 14. And all of these have been uneventful. She's driving the ball so well. Absolutely crushed off the tee, and a power up for the group in the home stretch now. Coach Yu on the final par 3 of the day, and off the green for a moment. She'll roll back from the fringe, and gravity decides it had done enough. You have to think 1 birdie and no bogeys from here would be at least enough for a playoff, 2, and she probably clinches it. 2022 was a bit of a resurgence for her. Her best year previously had been back in 2018. 2021, she was starting to make more top 10s, but was back on the podium for the first time in a few years last season. This is a really tricky one for Ida Young. Just has to get it up a little bit. Try and slow down in time. Couldn't have played it a whole lot better than that. Well, it's no good. Luckily, most of the sting had been taken out by the hill before it hits the spectators lined up before the green, and honestly, that ricochet off somebody's torso probably did her a favor. Izumi looking for a much less dramatic approach in. She was awfully close to that flag. She will also be rolling towards the back, but avoids the cart path. That's exactly how it's done. Each approach shot got increasingly closer, and Kim Soo-ji shows the way. This might go. What a brilliant shot. Well, considering her misfortune, just one hole to go and she missed a 2.5 meter putt for a birdie. She seemed out of it, but she's in with a chance on her way to 18. She needs a little bit of help above her, but she is well on her way to a podium finish. Kochi moves up into a tie for second, a 6-under day. That is matching the magic of Im Hee-jung. Kim Hae-rim, 2 holes to play. She is 5 strokes back now. Kim Min-ju, good round of 4 under. Same can be said for Son Ye-bin, down in a tie for 14th position. 21 players now have improved to under par with an additional 8 at even. Don't go anywhere. We are just heating up as we race to crown a champion on the 10th anniversary edition of the Nexen SaintNine Masters. While the preparation work continues behind the 14th green, we take in the approach shot of Cheonu. 118 meters from the fairway. Middle right. That is where she needs to head here. On the right green, of course. Up onto the green she goes, and now a path has been cleared.
잡히긴 잡힐 수 있어. 근데 거기 맞은다고 해도 어찌됐든 파트라인은 가능하니까.
Trying to recover and hitting it perfectly. That's almost unthinkable from where she had been. Could not have caught the fringe in a sweeter position. That'll keep her on the hunt, although she needs more birdies than just miraculous par saves. She could be on for another top 5 finish. Far and away the most impressive and consistent rookie in the early parts of the season. Can she find another birdie here? It would have put her well and truly above the rest. But too deep on the par 3. Significantly less dramatic effort from deep on the green for me, so me.
실례하겠습니다. 소리 내지 말고 멈춰주세요. 알겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
While her group mate suffered from a fair bit of drama here. Kim Soo-ji, just another day at the office. And still, she is unable to capitalize on it. It has been perplexing, to be quite honest, for she and Isomi, with everyone around her. Those two, really, you can throw Kim In-beol into that mix. Nobody else in the top 10 has struggled as much today as they have. Kim Soo-ji, you can make that 6 pars from 6 in a row. Bogeys 8 and 4, only the one birdie at 5. 1 over for the day. She is the only one down to Chuhei Reem in 21st to be over par. No No time to dwell on it, though, as we move right along. That's simply breathtaking. He's been relatively invisible today. He's so young. Very close to Park Young in terms of just the consistency with which he's played today. And Genie in that boat as well. After missing the green in a big way, Kim Min-byul is able to get up and down in its truest sense to hang on for her par. Only 4 holes remain. Cho Ayan on 15 for birdie. She's down 4 spots from where she started the day. She gets a big birdie back. Moves to a tie for 7th position. 3 more to go, and she could theoretically still catch Jae-Eun. Me also up and down. The time was running out before. Oh, it's like sand through an hourglass. Needs some birdies to keep herself in the fight. And right now the fight is to keep up with and catch up to Jae-Eun. Didn't play 15 particularly well, but it doesn't cost her anything. She sustains that lead. Well, it skirts just over that little crater on the left side of the fairway, but Kim Min-byul avoids the worst of it. You go through her driving numbers this week. It helps explain her brilliant performance. Only 2 misses in the first round, 4 yesterday, but there was that insane weather. It's been the putting that's slightly above average. Below average, excuse me, meaning taking more strokes than most. This would be a tough one for Isomi to swallow. I mean, she is no stranger to the winner's circle. She's just got to figure it out. With only 4 holes to go. Time is very much running out for Kim Soo-ji to push for the win, but could be on for a top 3 finish. High-pitched approach shot to within about 4 feet. Well, slightly towards the center. She has played some good golf today, Lee Dae-yeon, there's no doubt about it. Cho Ayan as well. Only 2 players all day have had better rounds. Only 2 bogeys this entire tournament, the start and the end of her first round. The challenge for her will be finding a birdie in this stretch of 16 through 18 where she has not birdied all week. And she'll feel a bit of vindication at the very end. She has a birdie, Lee So-young, to finish under par and a tie for 15th position. You can see the pin placement today in the final round, front right. If Isomi is looking for some signs of encouragement, it's how well she played 16 and 17 yesterday. She did bogey here in Saturday's moving day round. Still has 10 meters of elevation to attain as she approaches the green. Nearly a dead straight shot. Doesn't get on the brakes in time. Even a hole high would have been a significant boost. The physical reaction matches the oral reaction from the crowd. Drops to her knees in a mixture of frustration and disbelief as Lee Dae-yeon has to settle for a par. Now Kim Soo-ji's turn. That's exactly how you play this. Right when she needed a birdie the most, she's got to convert on it, which at times she has struggled to do today. But she makes that putt, and she's within 2. You never know. Bogey from Cheonu. It is a very makeable proposition. So we go on to 18, 116 meters out for Coach Yu. One last hole to try and tie our leader. How's her approach? Well, it's near perfect. Just about 4 feet away. She holds that, and it is a round of 65 out of nothing. Already up 9 spots, but what a day this is and has been. Not quite as on the money, but certainly better for Kim Min-pyeol than the last hole. They're shaping up for a mad dash. Coach Yu is almost guaranteed to birdie her final hole of the day. That would move her level with Chae Eun-woo at 8 under par. From there, you look to Lee So-mi on 15, Lee Dae-yeon on 17, Kim Min-pyeol and Kim Soo-ji also in this featured and final group. Can't quite say it's anyone's game, but there are still lots of candidates in the hunt this decennial anniversary of the Nexen SaintNine Masters. Should be a fantastic 45 minutes to the finish line. Stick with us. More to come from the Kayak Country Club. Welcome back to our final round coverage of the Nexen SaintNine Masters 2023. That is nearly symbolic for Lee So-mi. Unfortunately today, who did all of her birdieing seemingly in the first 2 rounds, only one today. She and everyone else within 2 strokes of the lead is trying to reel in Chae Eun-woo Approach on the par 5 is a dusty one. An absolute peach to finish hole high and only about 4 feet away, which could be an important moment as Coach Yu is seemingly inevitably about to catch her at 8 under par. Here's Kim Biol, 5.7 meters. Oh, just and only just to the right of the hole. A frustrating par as she taps in. She stays 3 back with only 3 to play. It's almost like the moment has set in that it's probably going to take at least another week. But with the golf she's playing, it's seemingly only a matter of time.
조용하시고 멈춰주세요. 알겠습니다.
She has skyrocketed from 782nd in the world to 321st each round this season. She has been in the top 6. Pretty remarkable for still just a teenager. Looking for her first birdie since the 5th. And nothing to stop her this time. Might have just left it a little late. But she gets back to even par and is within 2, at least temporarily. Kime Reem on 18. A nice par to finish the round. Inside of the top 10. 74, 69, and 70 in this final round. 3 birdies and only the 1 bogey for a combined tournament score of 213 strokes. Level with Kim Min-ju and Li Shu-ying. Another hole and another par for Isomi. What makes it even more surprising is how she so rarely over the years has been unable to finish off a win. 5 in her career, 5 times P2, 4 times in 3rd. Coach Yu, what a moment, what a putt this is. And she's got a birdie. So now she'll go, sign her scorecard, and wait. An almost unimaginable day of 65. 7 birdies, no bogeys, 11 pars. She's done absolutely everything she can to give herself a chance. She had been the 2019 Rolex Player of the Year. And she is on for the best finish in her career. After breaking through into popularity last season, Chayanu is able to complete her 6th birdie of the day. If she even pars the rest of the way, it seems like playoff at the minimum as she tries to chase down this first ever win, which would be perfectly on the money for how 2023 has gone thus far on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Swinging a blast to the right side of the fairway for the 4-time winner. In each of the last 2 years, 2 wins, 2 runner-ups. 2022 also saw 2 third-place finishes. Won the Hana Financial Group Championship last year. The biggest win of her career thus far. Just a bizarre, quite frankly, start to the 2023 season for Iso Mi, who missed the cut twice. So the first two events of the season, she'd only missed one cut all year last year in 30 events, only one in 2021 on 28 events. So whatever she did between the Medellin and Google Boat Championship and the start of this week to reset and refocus, well, it paid off. That's an understatement. "19 years old and proving she is going to compete with the best in the country more times than not this season, so long as she can stay healthy and focused." This is the green at 17. Nidayan with a tricky, stumble-inducing downhill putt to save a par. I don't know that that's going to go. It will not. Missing to the left, and that will drop her to 4 under. Well, certainly some flashbacks to last week when Iju Mi, who has had a similar timeline for her career, but had never been able to finish as the champion. She hadn't even had a podium finish to her credit up until last week. Of course, we started with the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open, and at that event, we got the sophomore EA1 completing the task that she just couldn't reach out and grasp in her rookie season. Biggest improvement, bar none, for JNU this week has been how she's putt the ball. She was averaging 31 putts per round. That's not going to get the job done when you're averaging nearly a 2 putt per hole. A significantly different story this week. .260. The second shot for Iso Mi. Keeps that very low lofted, and it's going to find the sand. I think she might have topped that. Very rarely, especially with a 5-wood, do you see such low loft when you're going downhill. Only thrice in the top 10 last season. We spoke about her third place finish. At the McCall Mona Park Open with SPS Golf. She had more missed cuts than top 10s. And this week everything has just clicked, especially today. She goes birdie birdie. It's a 64. That's a lot to ask. She's shown us today that you do not count her out at any point. Her tee shot on the final par 3 of the day. She's on the fence about it. She was short, but she's going to get up onto the green. In this position, as much as it's helpful to know exactly what you need by being in the featured group, there's almost a remarkable lack of pressure. You can always think to yourself, I just got to play my game. The final two groups will do what they'll do. I don't have control over that. .253 for Kim Soo-ji. Also, not the best contact on it. But she avoids the sand and is in a decent little spot there. Well, a big week. Next week, our first major championship of the season, as Chris FNC presents the 45th KLPGA Championship, a 4-round event. Makes these tune-up tournaments all the more important. It's a whole different animal, those majors, the prestige, the big names, just about everything. You want to be on a good run of form when those tournaments begin. And no better run of form than your first ever win. We'll see if J&O is able to hang on to the finish line. We'll step aside and reset. More from the Kaya Country Club in just a few moments. Well, one of the rare miscues off the tee for Iso Mi on the day. We find her in the sand trap to the left of the fairway on 16. She hits this very well. It's a bit deeper on the green than she would have wanted to be, but considering where she was, that's not a bad result. We go to 17, Joanne just short on the par 3. A little flop shot up inside of a foot or two. She tries to go up and down for a par. That's one of the best approaches we've seen all day. With such a narrow landing zone. That's rolled back in from Kim Min-byul to within a foot or two. Perfectly played up. Not quite as accurate from Kim Soo-ji, but she's hole high and still has a very manageable 5 feet. Inching closer and closer, but not quite all the way there for Jayuno. So a tap in and down to the final hole as she finishes off at 17. Just the par 4 remains. Now Iso Mi. Starts this well to the left. It's not going to get all the way there, but it's going to be a valiant effort. It'll be a day of what could have been. She finished the year so well. Back-to-back wins. The SK Network Seoul Economics Ladies Classic. And the S-Oil Championship 2022. She looked to be in for a fight for her 6th in her career. Just stalled out at the wrong time. Now Kim Soo-ji. Downhill, a little left to right. Inside of 5 meters. Just a tap to get it started. Is she online? Is she online? No. Well, you can say that was really her final opportunity. Just 2 holes to play. The leader comfortably ahead.
알겠습니다. 그럼 멈춰주세요.
Needs to keep this. Needs to make this, excuse me, to keep herself in sole possession of third. She does so. She needs back-to-back birdies to have a shot. It's unofficially over. It's quite likely already over, but unofficially with the birdie, she wouldn't be caught. It's a career's worth of thoughts flooding her mind right now, no doubt about it. "53 holes with so few mistakes. Certainly today. Does she have just one more in her? It's a nice drive to get it started. Well, as we wait for her to reach her ball on 18, let's go through some of the many birdies that she has been able to card this week, today especially. Her first of the day came at number 6, and it's almost as if then the starter's pistol sounded, and she was off to the races. So 5 pars from 5 to start the round, back to back, and making quick work at that point. 1 back of the lead. Should have a few more pars before making this approach shot on the 9th hole down the right side and screeching to a halt in a very favorable position. She would, of course, drain it from there. 10, 11, 12, all pars, biding her time to 13. That's a tough putt. And she would become a co-leader with Iso Mi on 13. And a couple times today we have seen her put back-to-back birdies together. This no exception on 14. Just enough power to get it all the way there, taking the outright lead. And since, well, she hasn't really looked back. 16, just about 10, 15 minutes ago. The accurate approaches continuing to pay off. Her 3rd and a 4-hole run. And now she finds herself here on the march down the fairway. And a swarm of spectators in behind looking to witness a part of her personal history. Kim Min Biel. Her 3rd birdie of the day, her 2nd of the back 9. She could still try and push to tie for the runner-up position. Well, it's a very unassuming par 3, this 17th, but at 162 meters between clubs, it is a tricky one. The pin today, we've seen it a few times already, 10 yards off the front of the green, 8 paces from the left, almost exactly in the center. But as you can see from our topographical animation, there is a lot of dip to it, almost like a little bowl, which can be helpful. 17 has only seen 4 pars today. Ko Chiu, Kim Shuan, Lee Jae-young, and Lee Se-hee. Kim Min Biel, the first to tee off in our featured group. Heading towards the sky, stopping on the fringe. Good, not great, but definitely good. Looked slightly out of sorts, Kim Soo-ji. The eye test matches it. She stops under the tree in a thick patch of rough.
카메라 소리 좀 안 나게 해주세요.
6-iron for Lee So-mi. Markedly better. Contact, that is. She is unable to get up. And it seems about fitting for how it has gone today. Kim Soo-ji and Lee So-mi off the green. Kim In-byul close to great, just not consistently where she needs to be. It's 140 meters out from the fairway for Chae-Eun-woo. Up. Plus 7.6. She didn't strike that the best, and she knows it. She grits her teeth. She'll get hole high, and she would have loved nothing more than the birdie and a 10 under score, but a 2-putt par is probably still enough. What she can't do is 3-putt from there. Otherwise, a playoff would be all but a certainty. Maybe just a little bit of excitement creeping in. Birdie would have matched Coach Yu's round of 65 today. It's pretty special to say the least.
넥센 세인트나인 마스터즈 2023 대회장 찾아주신 갤러리 여러분께 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 자, 지금 이제 마지막 조와 우승을 다투는 조 선수들이 그린 위로 잠시 뒤에 모습을 보이겠습니다. 잠시 뒤에 선수를 보이면 큰 박수로 환영을 해주시면 고맙겠습니다.
네, 조아영 프로 지금 올라오고 있습니다. 여러분 큰 박수
네, 어머니 박수
부탁드립니다.
부탁드립니다.
Well, despite the sun staying away for most of the day, the weather has certainly cooperated for this final round Sunday. A bit on the cooler side, but just a brilliant day. Down here, the southwest corner of the country at Kaya. That's a tricky one. You can't pitch it nearly as high with the branches overhead and how much of a downhill slope it is. That is extremely well managed by Kim Soo-ji. That is Coach Yu keeping herself loose just in case there is a playoff to come. She would need 3 putts from Cheonu for that to be her reality. Otherwise, she is in for a very, very encouraging runner-up position heading into next week's first major of the season. Naoisomi, a little pitch up on top of the table. Also leaves herself with about 5 feet. One more look at that final round. Add in a birdie at the very end as well for Coach Yu. A 65. Unbelievable. It really does feel this season, doesn't it, that there's been a big shift away from the superstars of the last few years. A couple graduating to different tours, of course, including the defending champion here, Yuhei Ran. But we're seeing players young and old winning their first events. Old is, of course, a relative term to the increasingly low age of the players on tour here. Cheonu, this for a birdie. Why not have one more? Oh, what a great putt. It is going to be a round of 66. And that putt in about 15 minutes should become the one that clinches the first title in her career. A bogey-free day. She played some admirable and exciting golf. You can't ask for a whole lot more. Would have got her to 10 under par. Would have been a cherry on top of the Sunday. It would have been unofficially officially done. She is going to have to wait just one hole more. Never say never, but it definitely seems probable now. This is a tricky one for Kim In-byul. Starts to come back late, so we can be assured of a par for her. It won't quite be at the career best that she set last week, but she is very much on for 3 straight finishes inside the top 6 to start her rookie season. It's pretty special what we've seen from her. Kim Soo-ji has her par. Keeps herself in lockstep with her group mate at T4, still even for the day. more on 18. Unfortunately, a tough end to the day for Cho Ayon. She goes over par with a bogey. Finishes even. Still a nice top 10 finish for her this week. Isomi will head to the last, still owning third position, all to herself. 2 back, 1 to play. 64 million one payday would be on for her if she can have a birdie at the last here. Well, she'd be splitting second with a birdie, excuse me, but a par would have that sole third. Some moments of absolute brilliance, but just not consistent enough to make the push that she would have needed. Jae-Inu over to sign the scorecard, excuse me. Witness another, and then wait patiently for her one shining and crowning moment. This is 18. It is the final hole here on the Nangdong course. 343 meters. And uphill to start. 2 fairway bunkers on the left, just before the cart path. 125 to 85 meters to the front of the green is the average landing distance off the tee. The end of that sand trap to the left is 215 from the tee. Of course, we are playing to the right green, over the sand trap, and to pretty much the exact center. That is where we find the pin today. The only way that this is not over is as if Isomi crushes a drive, hits it absolutely perfectly, and then eagles. That is the only possible scenario that would not see Jae-Inu become champion. And Isomi has not played this 18th hole well, and that trend continues. It's heading right. And she is headed up the hill. Now, will it stay there is the next big question. Someone might have just whispered. She sliced it. She's in the hill. It's yours. Everybody wants a piece of the action, yet she is the woman of the hour, and it's not particularly close. It's remarkable the symmetry that we can find in sports sometimes. EA won at the very beginning of her career, just as a sophomore. Last week, it was the crowning moment for Ijumi. And we're about 10 minutes away from Jae-Inu's crowning moment. She's had a third. She's never had a P2. She has never had a win. That is about to change. And she will be in red-hot form when we head to Lakewood next week, just north of Seoul, for the 1.3 billion won purse and the prestige of the 45th KLPGA Championship presented by Chris F&C. And while we wait for our final group to reach their second shots, we take in the beauty of both the waterfalls, the scenery, and the realization that a lifelong dream is about to be achieved. Well, as we see, Somi was actually quite lucky with the roll back down out of the thick rough. It's one of the most magical things about this sport. And so many experience can make or break. But I find often in golf it's the great leveler. Different ends of the spectrum, how long they've been pros. Obviously it seems to get younger and younger by the year. No better example than this very special athlete who is looking to finish in the top 5 once again. She finds the bunker to the left of the fairway, looking to reach. Again, the exact center of the green is where the pin is today. She is just off the green. Anything but a bogey would keep that top 6 streak alive for 19-year-old Kim Min-byul.
카메라 소리 내지 말아주세요.
Well, this doesn't go in the hole, which 999,999 times out of a million it will not. It will be official. Isomi, the last chance to deny a win through 54 holes. She rides the fringe and comes up short. Mathematically, it is guaranteed. Cheonu has won the decennial anniversary of this Nexen SaintNine Masters. The top of the leaderboard is confirmed. We know that. But there are still some very important classification bits to take care of. Obviously, a lot of activity behind that 18th green. One last check of the wind. And Kim Soo-ji will play. She's on the fence about it. Doesn't know if she likes it or if she loathes it. She is the only one of the trio to stay on the green. And they are announced as they arrive down on the final hole of the day.
잠시 뒤 선수들이 가까이 보이면 여러분 큰 박수로 응원해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Well, the moment when you officially become a champion. Not one to forget. It's always special, a first-time winner, isn't it? She certainly deserved it this week. We will, of course, go through the final round highlights. We will hear from Cheonu. And then what I can only imagine will be a purple carpet rolled out on the green for the prize ceremony. Not once in the 10-year history of this event have we seen a repeat winner. Lee So-young had been the best performing previous champion when she won back in 2018. She had that birdie right here at 18 at the end of the round to finish the tournament at 1 under par, tied for 14th. Probably could have used a bit more pace than that for Kim Min-byul, so now she has a tricky putt to salvage a par. She makes it, she finishes tied for 4th. If she misses, outright 5th. And the water bottles and flower petals are being prepared, as is standard practice here. A rite of passage, especially for your first. The third for Isomi. This needs to get on the brakes. She will have that putt for par, and it would seem fitting, wouldn't it? On a day where the birdies were just somehow so elusive for her. A birdie and a bogey. And 16 pars if she holds out from there.
플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
And Kim Soo-ji is able to convert on this. She'll be sharing the third step of the podium with Isomi. Down into the bowl and just inside. Will be the 38th top 10 finish in the career of Kim Soo-ji. Would have been her 5th bronze finish, her 13th on the podium. But as had been the case for Isomi today, just not enough birdies. The putter cooled off at the wrong time.
플레이하겠습니다. 치겠습니다. 치겠습니다.
She was tied for 6th again to recap it all. Her first 2 events of the season, Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open T6, last week T3. Kim Min-byul goes just over the hole. She has not enjoyed herself on 18 in this final round. And the caption, this water, these flower petals are about to be all over this nice green sweater. By the way, I just won on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Something to that effect, I'm sure. Maybe a little wordy, we can workshop it. Well, it's not the final round she would have wanted, there's no doubt about it, but after missing the first two cuts of the year, more from Isomi that we've grown to expect from her the past 2 seasons. That reaction says it all. So bogey finishes with a 73 in this final round. Sometimes all you can do is smile and shake your head. And the golf gods are on your side or they're not. And today, unfortunately, for Isomi, it is the latter category. It's still a podium, just means she has to share it now. She won't be sharing it with Kim Min-byul, who's about to have a bogey of her own. And she's going to have a double, maybe more. It makes it worse when not only is everyone waiting patiently, I'll add, for you to finish, but there's a lot of eyeballs on that putt. She hadn't had a double bogey all week. In fact, I don't know that she's had one all year. So she skitters in on her 54th and final hole, and you can see the reaction painted across her face.
실례하겠습니다. 실례하겠습니다.
120 players had gone to battle and contend for this 800 million won purse and the honor of being the 10th champion of the Nexen SaintNine Masters. 119 have missed the cut or have finished their final round. The celebrations for Cheonu will begin momentarily, but first, Kim Soo-ji for a par to share the podium. And she keeps stepping out. I don't know if there's sound in the background or something that's throwing her off, but it's still a pretty big putt. So T3 indeed, with the 72 in the final round.
네, 넥센 사인트나인 마스터드 2023 이제 마지막 라운드 끝낸 또 선수들이 스코어 점수를 진행하겠습니다.
Okay, now we can begin. She has stood and waited patiently for her moment in the spotlight. She earned it today, outlasting the fields. And feeling all the more sweet as Cheonu becomes a champion on the LPGA Tour of Korea for the very first time. The 27-year-olds, another veteran who never gave up on the dream, never stopped putting in the hours, the practice sessions, the tournaments. That's what she has been waiting oh so long for. The 212th event of her career, and she stands above the rest as the champion of the 2023 Nexen SaintNine Masters. So the unofficial leaderboard, as each of the 120 players are through, Cheonu with a one-stroke victory over Coach Yu, who also has a career best, finishing in the runner-up position after a breathtaking round of 65. Kim Soo-ji even to finish at under 6 for the tournament, level with Lee So-mi. 6 under round for Amy Jung to finish tied for 5th with Kim Min-biel. That double bogey at the end really dropping her from a podium, which of course would have been oh so sweet for the rookie. Li Shuying with a great round today, 68, 4 under to finish 3 under for the event inside the top 10 with Kim Ae-rim, Cho Ayeon, Kim Min-ju as well. Well, we will momentarily get you the final round highlights and, of course, our prize ceremony on the 18th green. Preparations are underway. We'll also hear from Cheonu as it is officially time to celebrate. And we won't rush through. We'll savor every moment of it. But it won't be long now before we turn our attention to the first major of the season next week at Lakewood, the serene country club just north of the capital city of
네, 네, 안녕하세요. 네, 감사합니다. 네. 아니요, 일단 예상은 하나도 못했고요. 일단 선두랑 시작할 때 타수차가 많이 나가지고 뭐 딱히 우승을 하겠다라는 생각보다는 일단 제 플레이만 하려고 일단 오늘 경기에 그렇게 임했습니다. 감사합니다. 네. 네. 네, 일단 제가 제일 부족했던 부분가 아무래도 퍼터였었고 저도 그걸 너무 잘 알고 있었기 때문에 항상 이제 고민을 많이 했어요. 바꾸기도 많이 하고 뭐 퍼터도 바꾸고 이제 레슨도 받아가면서 제 것만을 찾으려고 이제 올 전지 훈련에서도 퍼터를 집중적으로 좀 연습을 했고요. 근데 올해 요번 때 아무래도 퍼터가 제가 하고자 한 퍼터가 너무 잘 돼가지고 좋은 성적으로 이어졌던 것 같아요. 네, 아무래도 올해 마음가짐은 제가 9년 차인데도 불구하고 우승이 없는 거에 좀 아무래도 하나의 저한테 이겨내고자 해야 할 부분이었는데 올해는 우승을 하고자 하는 목표보다는 그냥 매 샷 하나하나에만 집중을 하고 그냥 투어 다닐 수 있는 거에 감사하자고 생각을 했기 때문에 오히려 더 선두라는 자리에 올랐을 때는 생각보다 그렇게 부담이 오지는 않았던 것 같아요. 그 경기를 즐기려고 했고 한 번은 마주쳐야 되는 상황이기 때문에 그래서 더 좋은 결과가 있지 않았나 싶습니다. 네. 아무래도 오늘 아빠가 생신이세요. 그래가지고 정말 최고의 선물한 것 같아가지고 제일 기분이 좋습니다. 저희 부모님. 네. 일단 이렇게 9년 동안이라는 시간 동안 항상 뒤에서 부모님이 뒷바라지 해주셔가지고 제가 이렇게 훌륭하게 큰 것 같아가지고 저로서도 또 뿌듯하고 항상 이렇게 부모님의 자식으로 태어난 걸 너무 감사하게 생각하고 있습니다. 진심으로 감사드리고 생신 축하드립니다, 아빠. 아무래도 첫 단축 깨는 게 제일 힘드니까요. 아무래도 첫 우승 했으니까 앞으로도 많이 남은 대회 또 다승을 목표로 또 열심히 하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다. 네.
It starts to sink in after you dry off from the water shower and the flower petals and you speak to the SBS golf crew. It's all a part of the crowning ceremony, and we are getting ready to begin the prizes down on the 18th green. In the interim, we go through the round highlights. Isomi, she had started the day at the top. 7 under had been her score. She got off to a very difficult start to a round, it must be said. As she would have that bogey at the first. She started and ended with a bogey with only one birdie in between, which I'm sure we'll see in just a few minutes' time. Kimin Bial, meanwhile, on 4. After her birdie at the last, you start to think, okay, she might be on for something a little bit special today, but unfortunately she hits a speed bump. That hole immediately succeeding what she had just done. More of the happy moments, the great shots, and there were many of them in the day for Coach Yu. That had been her 3rd birdie on the front 9, getting the better of hole number 8. We saw some of this earlier, a pack of the best moments for Cheonu. Need a little bit of luck at times. At that point, she had still been 3 shots back of Isomi. Her first birdie of the day coming at 6. And something, it just clicked from that point forward. She would have another at 7 to move up to 5 under, par to the 8th, and then had this approach shot on the par 5 9th. To the right side of the green and stopping within 4 feet. Brilliant touch with the wedge to get herself in close. She would have a simple tap in for a birdie. There would be a bit of a lull, admittedly. 10, 11, 12 pars. Got one back in the birdie column on 13, and she doubled down again. Patterns here that we'll see. Birdie, birdie, par, birdie on the back 9 after 3 straight. Birdie, birdie, par, and on 16. she would have one more. There would be other players, of course, going very low today. Of course, Ko Chi-yu, 7 birdies at this point. She had been at 5 under, but she was not done with some brilliance in the final 2 holes. 7 under at that point. She took over second spot. She would not relinquish it from there. A nicely played tee shot on the par 3, leaving her with just essentially a tap in. And one of the few people to really find the mastery of 18. 9-iron, 116 meters out from the fairway, up onto the green, and that nice little kick to the left, stopping hole high. 4 feet. She was sharing the lead, the runner-up position, with Isomi, but no mas. An unbelievable round of 65, lower than anybody else shot this week, and bogey-free on top of it. It was close, and for that time, she was in the lead, sharing it with Cheonu. Until this, 16, the final birdie of the day on the par 5. She took the lead. She would not give it up from that point. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant golf on the way to a 66 that was made official on 18. Thought, we all did, that she was going to level Ko Chi with the 65. It looked on. The line was on, but the speed just not there. I mean, if you're going to complain about a par when you basically had the tournament in the bag already, you're missing the big picture. And the big picture is a 66, a 71, and a 70 this week would be enough to see her finish with a 207-stroke tournament and the first win in her career. Again, mentioned Ko Chi-yu, best round of the tournament, best finish of her career. Kim Soo-ji, even in the final round. Isomi, 1 over par with a bogey at the last. Kim Min-biol, double bogeying number 18. Still finishing inside the top 6, as she has done every single round this year. Tied for 5th with Imi Jung, who had a great round of her own with the 66, matching what our champion had done. Li Shu-ying had gone 4 under in the final round. The invited golfer to finish in the top 10 with Kim Min-ju, Cho Ayeon, Kim A-rim. What a day it has been, and this is always the best part. On to the golf cart. You're sponsored by a tire company, we are. Nexen SaintNine Masters. She is going to get her drive up to the green and will be showered with prizes that she so thoroughly earned, not just today, but over the course of her career. We will throw it down now to 18 as our prize ceremony begins.
자, 그러면 우승 자켓이 수여될 텐데요. 한국 여자 프로골프 대 김순민 수석 부회장님, 네, 지켜주시겠습니다. 네.
자켓을 입고 사진 촬영 진행하겠습니다.
자, 정면을 봐주십시오. 네. 세세한 부분까지, 예, 챙기셔야죠. 네. 잘 나와야 됩니다. 두 분 잘 어울리십니다. 네. 자, 그러면 이제 트로피가 수여되겠습니다. 넥센그룹 강정종 회장님께서 전달해 주시겠습니다. 자, 이 트로피가 의미가 있죠?
네, 그렇습니다. 넥센 세인트나인 마스터즈의 트로피는 자신감 멘탈을 상징하는 타자와 또 우승을 상징하는 W를 형성하였습니다.
자, 정면을 봐주십시오. 자, 상금 보호가 전달되겠습니다. 자, 상금 금액이 쓰여 있습니다. 여러분, 다시 한번 축하해 주십시오.
이런 박수 계속해서 부탁드립니다. 네, 여기서 끝이 아니죠.
네, 또 있는데요. 셀리턴 뷰티 헬스케어 디바이스 패키지가 부상으로 제공됩니다. 다음 상이 바이오컨트롤러 이곳의 명예회원권이 부상으로 제공되는데요. 네, 김명섭 대표이사님께서 직접 전달을 해주시기 바랍니다. 자, 본판. 네.
계속해서 사진 촬영 이어가겠습니다.
네, 자, 이제 포토볼 마지막입니다. 넥센그룹 배진열 사장님께서 전달해 주십시오. 자, 그러면 이제 내빈 여러분과 우리 최우드 프로와 함께 기념 촬영을 하도록 하죠. 자, 가운데로 조금 이동해 주시고요. 자, 위치를 좀 잡아 주십시오. 자, 트로피를 네, 잘 보이게.
최우드 프로와 내빈 여러분들 사진 촬영 진행하겠습니다. 네, 최우드 선수들 중간으로 양 옆으로
높게
서주시기
쓰시면
바랍니다.
좋겠네요.
예.
자, 앞에 보세요.
화한 표정. 네. 프레시가 많이 터지고 있습니다.
One of the most unique and beautiful trophies that are awarded on this tour, the hand carved with the lion, of course, to signify the 10th champion, this decennial anniversary of the Nexen SaintNine Masters, an honorary membership to the Gaia Country Club. I think there are many golfers in this country that would happily take one of those, and a Celtrian health and beauty package as well to go along with 144 million won, a massive payday out of this 800 million won purse. And of course, the spiffy purple jacket to go along with it. We had some previous champions in the house this week, of course, and there is a new name to that list. Just a fantastic week in Kimhae-shi, the southwest corner of this wonderful country. Treated us to a delightful 3-round tournament, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. It would not be possible without you or our SBS Golf and Spock crews. Always our treat to be able to broadcast this wonderful tour, one of the best in the world, with some of the best golfers in the world. What better place, what better time to spend than with us here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. I've been Adam Jenkins signing off. We look forward to welcoming you back next week, the first major of the season, the 45th KLPGA Championship presented by Chris F&C from Lakewood. But this week, it is all about another first-time champion, Cheonu. Congratulations to her. Very well deserved. A career of work paying off in a big way this week. So long from Kaya. See you on Thursday.